Hi, this is Swan with Swan Amity Studios, and we are continuing to stitch out all of the decorative stitches on the B-77 Bernette. Let's go ahead and get started today's video with stitch number 158. Now, this one is going to be a quick stitch. It's going to stitch out nice and quickly, and we're going to notice that the simplicity of this stitch is kind of the perfect thing for using heavier threads. So if you're wanting to use heavier thread with your decorative stitches, look for the things with a little less complexity. If you're getting into a 40 weight or even a 30 weight, it's better to look for things that are less dense. So this one stitches out beautifully, looks great from both directions, and once again might do really well on a denim like we saw in one of our previous videos. So heavier fabrics, heavier threads, they work a little better when you're working with a less complex stitch. This is number 158. We notice that the stitch starts from the right hand side, and this is the default size. We're going to move on to stitch 159. Making sure that we're centering our foot right in with our centering line, and let's stitch. This one is another really fast stitch out. Less complexity in the stitch. And for those of you that know that I like using the decorative stitches to be accents in a lot of projects, you know I'm always looking for a good stitch to work for a cactus. Living in the Southwest, we need thorns on a lot of things. And I'm already seeing that this one could be good for doing like a little simple thorn pattern. If you're an Arizonan, you might be considering this one for an ocotillo perhaps in the background of your desert scene. Let's go ahead and label that one 159. This one starts from the middle, and this is the default size. We're going to move on to 160, and as we center this one up and drop our presser foot in, we're going to notice that this one starts right in the middle of the line. So I'm also noticing though that it does have a hard straight edge. So if you wanted the straight edge to partner up with something, you would need to pay attention to where that straight edge is going to start rather than where the stitch starts. Let's take a look at what I mean by that. As we stitch this one out, you're going to notice that the straight edge of the stitch is going to land to the right of center. And that's allowing it to take up the whole stitch breadth or the whole width of the stitch space. And that's something to keep in mind. One of the reasons I always start with the presser foot in the middle on my centering line is so that I can see where the stitch is going to build and use that as part of my reference material. So here's our stitch. It looks great. Our centering line is right in the middle of the stitch. You can see where it lands right there at the end. So keeping in mind that the straight edge of the stitch, if you wanted to line that up with the edge of something on a piece of apparel or a binding on a quilt project, or maybe even a straightaway seam, then you would need to know that it was going to land a little to the right of wherever your marking line is, and you would want to line that up accordingly. Just a little something to think about. This is number 160. It starts from the middle, and this is the default size. I do like that one. I'm going to be thinking about that one as a little edging tool. That kind of straight edge for me is exactly what I'm looking for when I'm going to stack stitches. So if you're watching all of the decorative stitch videos, stay tuned for a discussion of stitch stacking, which will come up fairly soon. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next 3 stitches in the series.